Hey guys, Sean Dostey here, the charity ambassador, America's Fundraiser. I'm here today and I am excited to be interviewing Ruth Grayson. Now, I say good morning. To me, it's noon because I'm on the East Coast. Now, for this young lady, it truly is morning. I think it's what, 9 a.m. out there. Where are you?
Yep, that's just right about the time. I'm in Los Angeles and it is a sunny, beautiful day here,
Ah, wonderful, as it always is in California, it seems.
usually.
Um, as we get into this, I'd like you to tell the world about yourself here. Who is Ruth Grayson and what does Ruth do?
Oh, well, thank you so much. I am so happy to be here. So my name is Ruth Grayson and my company is Bliss Auctions, which I started with my partner, Michael Lewis, back in January of 2020. Perfect time to launch an events-based company.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
he's the reason I got into fundraising auctions in the first place. He's a third generation auctioneer. And we started dating after meeting online. And after a few years of dating, I'm looking at what he's doing and I'm thinking, you seem like you're having a lot of fun up there. I want to give that a try. And fortunately for me, my skill sets align with the job. And it's just been an awesome ride ever since. I've had a great time helping nonprofits raise money and plan their events and also to help them figure out their pain points and figure out how to do it in a less stressful, more blissful way.
That is fantastic. Now, circling back a little bit, you say that you started in 2020.
We started our business. Yes, I had been joining my partner on his auctions for about a year and a half at that point. I went to auction school in June of 2019. I got my BAS designation in December of 2019 and I was raring to go. And then the whole world shut down and no events were happening. So just like everyone else, I had to pivot, had to find a way to keep going and to attempt to build a career even when events weren't happening.
Interestingly enough, you said that you went to auction school and you went to the BAS, which means that you are a member of the NAA, which gave you in 2020, I would say, the ability to pivot. Not that that's it helps,
It
uh,
helps. Yeah.
especially with the network behind you. I know we had literally hundreds of people that were saying, "What do we do? Will this work? Will this work?" And coming up with new ideas. And speaking of new ideas, young lady, you said something about streaming. Now, all the auctioneers I know are saying, yes, we're going back to live events. We've got live events, we've got the live gala. And you are excited about something a little bit different.
That's right. Yes. So I did a couple of virtual auctions just like everybody else during the lockdown times and some of them were awesome and people had a great time and other times they weren't as fun and everyone was just kind of doing it as a stopgap measure until they could get back into the ballroom. And as far as our nonprofit clients go, definitely the gala going donors are really excited about being back in the room. They're done with Zoom, they're done with virtual events, they're over it. However, what I noticed is that a number of their younger donors who weren't really in the gala going demographic in the first place, they are still participating in various virtual events and communities, especially live streaming. Now, live streaming, we think about the virtual events that we did, and we might also think about how some people will watch other people play video games. To you and I, that might not sound like a fun afternoon spent watching somebody else play, but for some reason, I think it's because we find that the streamers themselves are engaging and entertaining. People will watch someone do an activity for hours and hours at a time. And the fact that it's live allows them to interact with that person. So they can ask questions, they can offer suggestions. Oftentimes, they can do something in the chat to make something happen for the streamer. So it's a really interesting form of entertainment that the kids are into these days. And the fun part for those of us who are in the fundraising space is that there is a way to leverage this for fundraising. These streamers, they are content creators. We hear a lot about the content creator economy these days. And one thing that content creators are always needing is more content. As you know, putting together this video series, you just want more and more stuff to fill those minutes in a way that will engage your audience and, you know, bring about the results that you're looking for. So for these streamers, by doing these charity streams, they are filling their hours with something that is meaningful to them, that's meaningful to their community, and that helps the nonprofits. So it's a really cool kind of win-win for everybody.
So I'm an avid TikToker, and I am constantly fascinated by these lives that they're doing, and they're sitting there. They may be doing housework, they may be sitting on the bed, they may be doing absolutely nothing, or they may be, like you said, playing a video game. Now that's not the video streaming that my stepsons did with their gaming, with people watching them play Halo and Call of Duty and things of that stuff. But how in the heck do you stream for events, and do you not worry about technical difficulties, or I suppose you're not having a live auction, so you're not worried about lag or anything like that. But if it is totally virtual, I suppose you could fill that out. So dig into it a little bit. Tell us what you do. What is what you're doing?
Sure. So I myself am just a streamer. I make art on my stream. And when I do a fundraiser, it's just to be clear, this is more of a peer-to-peer grassroots style of fundraising. The nonprofit themselves hasn't contacted me specifically and said, hey, we'd like you to put together a fundraiser. Instead, I, as a streamer, take it upon myself to fundraise for an org because I'm motivated to do so. Now, some of these nonprofits do create a specific campaign, and then they recruit streamers through social media, through their own network of supporters to support that campaign. But in other situations, the streamer just wakes up one day or strategically plans and says, you know, June is Pride Month. I want to do a fundraiser. Who could I? Oh, I could fundraise for Trevor Project. That is what I will do. And so you're right, there's not a lot of auction action happening right now. What we're mostly seeing is things like giveaways, raffles. We also see a really fun thing where rewards and milestones come into play. So a reward is an incentive to get a donor to give at a certain amount. For example, if you give $10, I will eat a disgusting jelly bean. If you give $50, then I will write you a haiku, something along those lines. There are ways for gamers, especially, to connect the donations to something happening in game. For example, you donate $20 and now I don't get to use a weapon for the next 5 minutes or something along those lines. And then milestones are just like what you think with the thermometer at a traditional gala, but this will have something gets unlocked or something will happen when we raise a certain amount as a community. If we raise $500, I will take a pie to the face or something along those lines. And so those incentives, that's what kind of gets the donations coming in. And the auctions themselves, I have been looking around to see if any streamers are doing auctions. Currently, the technology doesn't really support it. The main platform for streamers for fundraising is called Tiltify. That's Tiltify. And they are working on an auction feature from what I understand, but right now it's not something that is available. So if a streamer wants to do it, they have to essentially come up with a workaround using chatbots and moderators, kind of leaning heavily on those to make sure that the person who wins the auction actually makes the donation. But the fun thing is with those auctions, what we're seeing is that people are often they're auctioning off personal items because the whole ecosystem is about the viewers and their relationship to the streamer, the idea of paying, say, $2,000 for the streamer's favorite sweater that they wore when they made partner and when they got, engaged, people will do it. You and I, we're used to selling trips and experiences, but personal items seem to really resonate with a lot of the viewers when it comes from the streamer.
Okay, so I have an auctioneer friend that is elder. Actually, she's not much older than I am. Ooh, that's scary. But she has medical issues, and we're thinking about doing a benefit auction for her. So if we were to do something like that, that seems to fit into the size. So how would we go about doing that? Or could we hire somebody like you to manage such a thing? Is that kind of the kind of thing that you would raise money for? Would be somebody that needs an oxygen machine or a lift chair or something like that? Is that something that you could do?
I do think you definitely can do that type of fundraiser through a charity stream. I don't think that the platform Tiltify would be the right fit for that. I think they require a registered nonprofit in order to be on their site. But there are a number of other sites that allow you to do various crowdfunding campaigns like Give Butter, like GoFundMe. And if you set those up, and then you had some streamers streaming for you and directing people to those links, then I think it could be really great. Now, we at Bliss, we do offer consultation, which is mostly just helping nonprofits understand what all is going into setting up a charity campaign and getting folks to live stream on their behalf. We can offer a bit more of a hands-on service, but so far, most people just want to kind of get set up themselves, and then they'll want to hire someone internally if they want to take a more proactive approach and kind of make this part of their annual fundraising strategy. As far as a one-off goes, definitely we can help with those. And I'm sure that you could raise a lot of money for someone. The key, just like any fundraiser, is that you are marketing your fundraiser to the people who are going to be supported, that you're getting the word out, you're getting them to show up, and you are creating an expectation of support.
That is fascinating. So, what made you decide on? Now, I assume you're doing both. You're doing the
Mhm.
others. What made you decide that this was the future?
That's a great question. So I am also very excited to get back in the ballroom with everyone. And, we're doing an auction tonight for a Boys and Girls Club, and very, very excited about that. I love the energy in the room. The reason I came on to this idea is because I started live streaming as a hobby back during the pandemic. Like I said, I make art on my stream. It's a little hobby, it's not a very big channel, but when I noticed that other streamers were doing these fundraisers and then I started to do them myself, I realized the power that they have. There are tens of millions of dollars being raised, if not more, by various streamers in aggregate. And that's one of the things that I find really fascinating about it. The gala, it works because you're getting a group of people together and you're convincing them that the sum is going to be greater than the whole, right? So it's a similar situation where one streamer themselves, they might not make a big dent, but when you think of yourself as one of many fundraising on behalf of a nonprofit, and suddenly now you get all of these dollars together, now it's starting to look like a real impact. And it's just really cool. The reason I think it is where we are headed, where it is definitely going to be bigger and bigger in the future. Live streaming continues to grow. It saw a big explosion in 2020 when we were all stuck at home and people needed something to do, but it is still growing. It's going to grow 15 times in 2023 was a stat that I came across, and I believe it. I'm seeing those numbers. Twitch, which is one of the most popular platforms to live stream to, that has over 7 million active streamers and over 250 million active viewers, which is just wild when you realize that about 75% of their viewers are 16 to 34. So this is where the millennials and the Gen Z folks are hanging out. They are watching their favorite content creators do whatever, whether it be sports, whether it be cooking or art or video gaming. There are channels that people will watch birds on a bird cam for hours and hours on end. So the potential is there, I think, for nonprofits to reach these younger donors, the ones who might be a little skeptical of institutions, of big brand names. They are trusting their streamer that they're watching to tell them, this organization is great. I believe in their mission. You should support them. Help me support them. And then they will. So I think it's a great way for nonprofits to kind of bridge that gap and reach those younger donors and meet them where they are.
Okay, so you have just thrown a whole litany of places that I've heard of. Now, I've never heard till today. I'd never heard of Tiltify, Give Butter. Of course, I've heard of GoFundMe. I've heard of Twitch. Why do streamers choose live streaming over something like, I know Facebook's for old people, so Facebook Live, but like the mainstay, oh, what am I thinking? YouTube. Instead of creating a video like I am doing, that is going to be memorialized and it's going to be up there where anybody can look at it. I've watched some from 5, 6, 7 years ago. Live stream, it's now.
Right.
I hate to say compare and contrast, and I feel like I'm a college professor, but what are the differences, and why are people choosing? Why are the kids? Why are the Gen Zs and the Gen Xers, and they're the ones that are going to take over our world? You see it as they grow up and are able to vote and actually make their ways to the polls. You know, we have to pay attention. So as the streamers, why stream over the more traditional methods?
That's a great question. And I think the motivation is different for a lot of folks. I think a couple of key things. The fact that it's live gives it an element of authenticity that you might lose in an edited and produced video. And so I think that immediacy and that authenticity is part of what is so attractive for a number of younger folks. There are folks who do stream to YouTube Live. They are one of the other platforms that are available for sure. And from what I understand, the monetization on YouTube Live is better than on Twitch, but it takes longer to get to the point where you can actually start making any money from ads. Whereas on Twitch, the bar is a lot lower and is more achievable. But I think
How so?
I'm sorry.
I don't mean to take a swing there, but how so? Like for instance, on YouTube, you have to have 1,000 followers before you can go live.
Right.
The same with TikTok. How does Twitch and some of those others, as far as monetization for these creators, for these influencers, how does that work? And
So with Twitch, you don't need any followers to go live. And in fact, streamers will often encourage would-be streamers to just hit that go live button and just do it. Just put yourself out there. And you can start monetizing after you get 50 followers and you have, I believe it's an average of 3 viewers per stream. So the numbers are pretty low. That's when you can become an affiliate and people can start to subscribe to you and you can start running ads on your channel and you ads Twitch is running the ads, but you get a very small percentage of that ad revenue as well as money from the subscriptions. And so, yeah, like you said, on YouTube, you have to have 1,000 viewers or followers before you can go live, where on Twitch, 0. And then it's up to you to grow your channel. Now, I will say that one common complaint among streamers about Twitch is that Twitch isn't there to help you grow your channel. It is a platform on which you can do your thing, but if you want have to be promoting your channel on other social medias and getting people to go and watch you on Twitch.
so
So
So is that
Yeah.
where our lower pay, our entry level jobs are going? They're not going into the entry level market. They're going to live streams and trying to create their own incomes. Is that a partial possibility?
I think it could be for some, definitely. In my research about charity streams, I came across a really wild number, which is that 600 universities and colleges in the US offer some sort of varsity esports or esports scholarship. And esports is kind of a side conversation to live streaming. Some of it is streamed live. Obviously, we've got these big tournaments where people are going and winning these prize pools for playing video games live in front of other people. But the simple fact that those scholarships exist is now going to push young people to really consider esports and being a streamer as a viable career. And it might be. I don't know. Who knows where the world is going, between e-commerce and esports and now these live streamers. It could be that this is the future of entertainment.
So where can we find you? Where can we see what you do and go from there?
Right.
You say you
Uh,
have a channel in which you do art.
I
What
do. I do have a channel over on Twitch. My handle there is Ruthful LA. That's Ruthful with two L's and then another L, three L's in total. Ruthful LA. And I mostly stream on Monday mornings and Wednesday afternoon evenings making my art. Like I said, it's a hobby, so I have to fit it around all of the other stuff, the client meetings and the content creation for the business. But yeah, I will be doing another charity campaign. I tend to do one every quarter. So I'll be doing one again in June and I'll be promoting it pretty heavily. And I'm really excited about it. I haven't yet picked my charity, but I am kind of looking at a few. I did one for the Trevor Project last year for Pride, and it was really great. And my one that I did earlier this year was for a local cat rescue. So I'm kind of all over the place.
What kind of money do you raise, if you don't mind my asking?
Sure. So I will say that I have a very small channel with a very small community. And on average, I'm raising around $600 per campaign. So when you compare it to a gala, it doesn't seem like a lot, but when you think about it kind of coming from nothing and being money that the nonprofit wasn't expecting, and again, the aggregate, me plus several other hundred streamers all doing it, now you're talking about real impact for the nonprofit.
I don't ever want you to short sell what you're doing. There are 1.5 million, is that right, Bobby D? There's 1.5 million nonprofits in the US.
Right.
Percentage of those can afford and have live gala events that raise 35,000 or $35 million in a night.
Right.
You are helping the micro uh, nonprofit world out there where everybody else steps over them, ignores them. I can't afford to do anything with that, and yet you're looking into it, but you're also looking into it as a stepping stone to bigger, better, larger, more evolved things. And I think that's absolutely fantastic.
Oh, thanks. You nailed it. That's one of the reasons why I found myself attracted to this. I was finding that as we were reaching out to potential clients for our auction business, not every nonprofit needs an auctioneer. Not every nonprofit's having a gala. There maybe it's not a good fit for them, or like you said, they're a micro nonprofit, so it just doesn't make sense. And so I wanted to find a way to still be able to help them raise money for their mission.
Now, is there a way that you could do a live stream and say pick out the local high school football boosters and get them involved in your live stream and use them for either as an emotional fund a need point or as for your followers, or to bring them together to the live stream and show them how they can donate. Is there a way? Have you looked into that? Are you searching those ways, or am I way behind, way ahead?
No, I think that's a great idea. I hadn't yet looked into it, but I think there's definitely a lot of potential there for sure. Especially when I was talking about with the esports, I have seen that a number of college esports teams will do their own charity live stream where they'll have like 16-hour, game-a-thons. Come on down, pay $5 and play, and then they're raising money for their own local nonprofit. So I think there is a lot of room there, also for local athletic teams as well. Definitely.
So it looks like you've got ideas for small events, large events, micro events, the whole gamut
You got
there.
it. Yep.
Uh, Now, you also do regular events. How do people get a hold of you? And do you have a website? Do you have a vlog, a podcast, um, uh, a phone number? How do people find you?
That's great. Yeah. Most people find us through our website, which is blissauctions.com. And on there, we do have both a regular blog where we're talking about all things fundraising and auctions. And we have started talking about charity live streams there as well, because my obsession just keeps spilling over into every area. And then we also have a special feature on our website that is for anyone who needs a pick me up. We call it our moment of bliss. And our business model, our mission is to bring bliss to the gala planning process. It's so stressful, and we just wanted to give people an opportunity to have a little smile. So it's just a little bit of feel good content that we put up there every week. And anyone can check it out. You don't have to be a client, it's not behind a paywall. And so, yeah, as far as getting in touch with us, you can email me, ruth@blissauctions.com, and I would love to connect.
That is fabulous. And I want to thank you for coming on today. And I also want to invite you back when you get to a different milestone. Now, I use that because you said something about milestones and rewards. If you get to a different place, because I know how excited you are, and I know how volatile this market can be. And I don't think you're very far away from discovering what your niche is, if you haven't already found it, and that it's going to grow into something special, even more special. So I want to invite you back. And I want to thank you for spending some time with me. So
Awesome.